Hello everyone, this is Corey with the Tech Guys, and today we're going to start looking at Google Sites for our way of developing staff pages or teacher pages for you to share more information with your students and your parents, available without a logon or something that you're going to require a Google email address. Either way, it's a very simple tool that's free to use and comes with all of our other Google apps or our G Suite apps, like Google Drive and Docs and Excel. So let's go ahead and get started. For me, it's easier if I do the analytical part and the creative part separately. So I've gone ahead and created just a new Google Doc, and I've written out my about me, written down education and useful links and that kind of thing. It's not at all required. It's just something that helps me move quicker, especially in a tutorial, and helps me focus on one thing at a time. Now, Google Sites has a couple of different ways that you can access it. One of them is to type in sites.google.com, and then we'll choose New Google Sites, because there are two versions of Google Sites. The old one is nowhere near as friendly or as nice looking. And then you could click this plus sign, but there's an even easier way. So I'm just going to go normal Google homepage, and I'm going to click on my little waffle icon, and I'm going to click on Drive, and then I'm just going to hit the New button, More, and find Google Sites. So I don't have to go to a different panel. Something else that I could have done is from any Google page, I can click the waffle icon and I can choose sites from this list. Some of you might have to scroll quite a bit to find it though, so it depends entirely on what's happening. But I would still have to choose new Google Sites from that one. Alright, but I've gone ahead and done it through the Google Drive page, so we're right here. And let's do that one more time with everybody. So go to your Google Drive page, clicking on the waffle, go to Drive, and then New, More, Google Sites. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and open up the one that I just did. Alright, so once you've created your new site, this is what you will be greeted with. You'll notice that you already have a banner and a page title and this big white space for your content. Right now it's untitled, but the thing that makes Google Sites so easy to use and so easy to make nice looking sites is that it's template or theme based. And so let's go ahead and look at those themes so that we can see what's happening. If we go over to the far right and we click on themes, this simple, Aristotle, Diplomat, Vision, Level, and Impression are all of the theme options that we have. Those are the categories of themes basically. And within each one of the themes we have different options of colors and fonts. And you'll notice what all I'm doing is clicking on these and it's completely changing the view of this website. Now, obviously, most of you will want a little bit more customization, but it's kind of nice to know that with just a single click, I can have a totally nice looking starting place. So let's go ahead and I'm going to choose this Aristotle theme, and I think I'm going to edit the colors a bit to be a bit darker. Actually, I'll choose this bluish gray color. And now I want to look at this font style. These are my options: modern, classic, or bold. I don't like bold fonts and I'm not super crazy about italicized, so I think modern's probably where I'm going to stay right now. So once I'm finished choosing my color, my theme, and making sure I'm good with my fonts, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my insert menu because that's where all of this stuff comes from. So now, all I've got right now is an untitled site, asking for my page title, and ready for all of my content. So let's go ahead and start with naming the file. Right now, untitled site would work, but it's kind of hard to find everything if everything is untitled document or untitled sheet or untitled site. So I'm going to go ahead and call it my name dash my position. I can't type and talk at the same time, so either I'm going to stop talking while I'm doing the video, or I'm going to probably misspell a huge chunk of stuff, just so you know. Okay, so you'll notice that this is quite long, and long enough that it actually truncates it. So I'm going to go ahead and click here and remove everything after my name. My title doesn't really need to be on multiple pages if it's there anyway. Nobody will see this bar up at the top once we make the site go live. So right now we're just worried about this part right here. So my name is at the top, and where it says your page title, I want to make this my name, or actually I want to say about Corey. Okay, so that's what I've got. Now, there are a couple of different workflows on building a website. One of them is that you can add content and make it look exactly the way you want after every single edition. The other one is kind of a dump and fix method. So I kind of like the dump and fix method with this Google Sites platform, just because it's really easy to do. So what I mean by that is that I already have all of my text here that I'm going to need for the site, or for right now anyway. So I'm just going to create a bunch of text boxes basically that hold all that information, and then I'll worry about making it look nice later. So to do that, I have a couple of different options. There's the kind of obvious way, which is I'm going to click on text box right here. It's going to bring up this space wanting me to type. I have all of my normal editing buttons like I would in normal editors or other text editors. I have my more editing options if I want to do some code font or strike through. And code font is not to insert your own code. It's more for like if you're doing a tech website and you want to give script. We probably don't want to do that though. So all of this stuff right here should be mostly fine for us. But anyway, so my first line of text is going to be systems administrator, then percussion instructor, and then all of the about me stuff and that kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and type in systems administrator. Told you. Then the cheater way of adding a new text box is to double click on this big white space down here. It opens up this wheel, and we're going to click the center text option, and it does the same thing. I just don't have to move my mouse all the way over there every time, which is especially handy if you're using a trackpad and you're not super good at it. Anyway, so systems administrator, percussion instructor, and then this next chunk is kind of long, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight it, right click, copy, then I'm going to double click, single click to get the text, then I'm going to right click, paste. There's that. Now I want to copy and paste the next chunk too, but I'm going to use keyboard shortcuts, so I'm going to hit Control C for copy. I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to double click, single click, Control V for paste, and then do the same thing for useful links. Control C, double click, single click, Control V. Alright, so now I've got all of my text basically, except for my titles, because I don't really need those. It's a small amount of typing. So now let's go ahead and jump to the kind of making the outline look the way we want it to. Now, I think I want this systems administrator and this percussion instructor to be under here. So it might make more sense if I had them be on the same line. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, which is Control X, by the way. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste it. after systems administrator. And I think what I might do instead of just putting spaces there is do space, and then I'm going to put a pipe, which is shift and then the space above enter or return, and then space. So that makes a nice little separation symbol. And now I want to get rid of this extra one that I made, so I'm going to go ahead and hover over it just like this, and you'll see that I have three options here. I've got a background section, and then I've got a copy section or duplicate, and then a trash. So I'm going to click on the trash can and delete that line. Everything will pop up, everything above stays exactly where it was. Life is good again. So what I want to do, I think, is take this and pop it right underneath About Corey. So if I hover again, you see I've got all these little dots that are right in the top center of that little box. So if I click on those and I pull it up, you'll see that I have that big long blue bar that goes across or right underneath that title. So wherever that blue dot is where this new piece of text is going to go, or this piece of text is going to go. So all I want to do is make sure that that blue line goes where I want my data to go. So I do want it to go under About Corey, so I'm going to make sure my line's where I want it, and then I'm going to let go. Now, obviously, that isn't the same level of justification that I want, but it is in the right position. So let's go ahead and fix my alignment. So I'm going to go ahead and click, and it opens up my text editor, partly because I clicked on text. If I click off the text, it should still come up, and I'm able to edit these independently, so life is still good. So I'm just going to highlight that, and then I'm going to go to this option right next to the I and change my alignment to center. Now if I do that, it should make my systems administrator and percussion instructor titles equally aligned to About Corey, so everything is centered. Let's see, do I like that font? I think I do actually, but say that I don't. If I highlight this, then I can change this normal text option to subheading, and it changes the font automatically, or I can change it to heading, it makes it bigger, or title, which is obviously not what I would want to do, or I can go back to normal text and choose from bold or italicized or bold italicized, or whichever arrangement of this I like. I actually do find that I liked the subheading text. The slightly bold text is pleasing in that particular position. So I'm going to leave that like there, or right there. Now, I told you that I didn't bring in my titles earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and put a title in. If I'm right here, if I click above my text, see how it's blue all the way around or highlighted? If I click text box now, it's going to pop this thing in a random spot. So I don't really want it to go random just because it kind of messes with me. So I'm going to go back down to the bottom, double click and single click, and I'm going to do my next title, which is going to be education. Another one will be useful links, or yeah, that'll do. So I'm actually pretty okay with About Corey being under here without a separate title, because About Corey is the page, or About Me, and I am Corey, so that makes sense. But I do need the education experience to go up there, so I'm going to again click on it, grab the little dots, and move it to there, and it popped them together. So now you'll see that the little dotted lines make it to where this entire unit is connected, and whenever I hover over it, it brings up just one set of 3 instead of 2 sets of 3. So I can still edit these independently, but they're kind of grouped. So let me go ahead and highlight education, and this is a heading, so I'll choose heading, and then I like that, so I'll come down to useful links. I'll do the same thing, pull it up here, highlight it, choose heading. Alright, so now I've got my kind of mini bio, an education experience. Let's just go ahead and then useful links. So if I go ahead and keep it this way, life will be fine. It is totally functional. People can get in, people can scroll, but I kind of want to see what the user experience really looks like. So that's when this button right here comes in. This little eye, if you hover over it, it says preview, and if I click on it, it's going to pull away all of our menus that were on the side, and it's going to pull away all the extra white space and show what it looks like exactly when people show or visit your website. You'll also see that we have these controls down here. These are pretty handy because it shows you a pretty good approximation of what the site looks like if someone's visiting from a different device. Right now this looks like a desktop screen, and it's for a desktop or a laptop or something like that with a normal size screen. One over is a tablet size screen, so you'll see that things got compressed down a little bit. And one more over is what it looks like if someone visits on a phone. So it's kind of nice to be able to tell what the user experience is going to be like on all of the devices, and it's something that you can keep in mind if you have really important information, because this part right underneath the title, everything that fits on the first screen without being scrolled is called above the fold, and that's usually where the most important stuff on the site needs to go, because people don't like scrolling down pages. So that said, even on a full desktop with pretty high resolution, I still have to scroll on the site, and I'm really not okay with that. I don't like the way it looks, and it looks really heavy weighted on the left side, and while it does work, I think we can do better. So I'm going to go ahead and click that X to get out. And I think I want to take useful links first off, and I'm going to grab the little dots, and I'm going to move it to where that line goes right to the side, the right side specifically, of the bio portion. And I'm going to let it go. And you'll notice that it popped this guy over, and then useful links is to the side. And now if I go to preview, I still have to scroll because this is longer than that one, but I already think that this part feels more even. It feels less weighted heavily. So I think that I would like to take education experience and pull it down to where it's connected to the bio. And now if I go to preview, that's much better. And then that makes it to where the useful links I can edit independently of all of this stuff. These are connected to where the weighting is nice. So I'm feeling better about this. So let's add a picture, I think. So let's say that I have a bio picture on my computer and that I want to upload it. Now, again, just like there were multiple ways to add text boxes, and much like there were ways to get to actual Google sites, there's more than one way to upload a picture. Of course, a double click and choose upload works, upload from here works, but you can also just drag files to your website and drop it. So if I have a picture that I want to upload and I do this, then it's automatically going to upload that picture for me, and then that's there. Then once I have a picture in the site, I have specific tools for those. So this is the symbol for crop. This one is uncrop, so if you start moving things around and resizing them, if I hit uncrop, it pops it back to its native aspect ratio, so it keeps the height and the width equal, relation speaking. So I'm going to go ahead, this add the link, sorry, and this trashes it. more editing options. You can change the image that you've added and add alt text. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So right now I think I want to crop that because I don't really need the agreed symbol. So if I take and I use this little slider thing, it wants me to resize the photo picture thing and choose which parts I want in there. And then I choose the check mark once I'm happy with it. And I can also cut out like that. Alright, so there's my little Bitmoji picture thing. Now, what if I don't have the picture in Google Drive? I mean, on my computer, but I do have it in Google Drive. So if I go ahead and click on the Images button, or double click and hit Images, I am able to go to Google Drive, and it will automatically set itself to images and pull all of the images that I have. So let's say that I have this one. So then I can take and I can resize that one to where they're approximately the same height. I'll hit uncrop so that it keeps it at the same perspective. And then we have this nice little symmetry thing going on. So there's two ways to do pictures. If I had it in Google Drive already, or if I already had it on my computer. But what if I don't have any pictures yet at all? Well, sometimes pictures get a little bit tricky on websites because of copyright issues. It is not a good idea to just go to Google and search for whatever you want and put the random image in there. Copyrighted images can come with very hefty fines, so not advisable. But Google Sites is aware of that, and Google Sites is heavily utilized by teachers. So they have something built in. So if I go ahead and click Images again, and that first thing, I go to Search, this is automatically going to pull images that I can use regardless. They're going to have a separate kind of a copyright or a separate kind of usage license that makes it to where it's totally legal to use them on a website. Like this thing right here says, results shown or labeled for commercial reuse with modification. So you could even technically use them to make money off of. But since we're in an education environment and that isn't what we're doing, there are absolutely zero ramifications for using this search field. So if I wanted to search for, I don't know, technology, this pulls everything that I'm allowed to use. I can choose type, so if I wanted like a face of something, or let's see what a face has. So those are creepy, honestly. If I wanted to use them, I could. Photos, clip art, line drawings. So quite a few options. I can choose by color if I wanted specific color themes on my website, or I can stay with any color. So once I've decided what my search criteria are and I look through here and I can just click one, see that we have a check mark by it. I can click as many as I want. Anything with a check mark is going to be populated into my site once I hit this select button. So it tiles them there, and then all of these can be edited exactly the way these were. Well, I don't really want those, so again I'm going to hover over this and I'm going to choose the delete section. And one more time. Now this doesn't really make sense to have right here, and what I think I'm going to do is pull this guy down here, and then I'm going to pull what do I want to do with these? I don't really want to do that. Thought I might, but I don't. Let's keep those guys by themselves, and they need to be smaller. Too much of me. Uncrop that. And shrink him. Smaller Bitmoji me. Okay, so there's me and Bitmoji me. So let's go ahead and leave those guys. I guess if we wanted to have a picture, or we could just use one and go put it up here. That's probably more professional anyway. And we'll go ahead and trash the Bitmoji me. Okay, so we've got this not looking too bad. What if I wanted something to add an announcement area for my classroom or something like that? So I'm going to go ahead and add my text box and then say announcement goodness. Okay, announcements for the first week of school. Obviously, you would have announcements. I want this to go above. So I'm going to go grab these little dots right here on the left and pop it up to where it goes right underneath my header up there. And then I'm going to draw attention to it. So this, the top option, if I hover over it, that looks like a painter's palette. I already have regular, then I have emphasis 1, which turns it all gray, or emphasis 2, which turns it basically the same color as my titles, my headings. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that option right now. But if I wanted to, I could have also went to image and select image, and I could have chosen any of these. And if I have it checked, I hit select, and then it says adjusting for readability, so it makes it to where screen readers can look at it and it's easy to see. But I could also have a background image there. But right now that's a little busy, so I'm going to stick with emphasis 2. Alright, so once I've got my announcement there, I've got my bio, I've got my education experience, useful links. Let's say that I think I'm doing pretty well, but I really don't like my background image here. Well, that's fine. So if I hover over here, you'll see that I have this change image option, and I'm going to click that. Again, I have upload or select image. I'm going to select image, and I can choose from these predefined ones. Again, the same way. I don't know, select that one. It again will adjust for readability and then see the background lightened. I can reset it if I decided, hey, that really wasn't what I wanted to do. I like the original one better. I can do a search for technology again. Let's see. Let's try this guy. Select. That's not bad. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I like that one. Maybe I want a different header type. So right now it's on banner, which is our medium option. If I choose large banner, it's going to make that much bigger. If I choose title only, it gets rid of the background, makes it just a title, and you get a white page. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it on banner because I think it looks good. If I wanted to, if I had a logo, I could click add logo. I could select a logo from my Google Drive or search for it just the same way as I have everything else. But I'm going to go ahead and upload one, and we'll choose that Bitmoji picture one more time just because I have it. It's going to spin, adjust, make the background transparent. Alright, so now I've got my little logo right next to my name. If you want to, you can always change it by going to Edit Logo. You can trash it, upload a new one, you know, whatever makes you happy in that regard. Now, let's say that I want to have more than one page. So I've got my home page here, basically my profile, but what if I want a page for every class? Well, I'm going to go ahead and click this Pages button, Pages tab, and then I've got this little icon at the bottom that means Add Page. So let's go with Minions as a class. So done. Automatically changes the page. And you'll see that I also now have a navigation bar. So I've got Home and I've got Minions. If I click Home, it takes me back to my home page. If I click Minions, it takes me to the Minions page. And then I can edit Minions exactly the same way. So if I go over here, header type is currently on title only. I can change it to banner. I could upload a class-specific banner on this page, or I could choose a class-specific banner on this page. They don't have to be the same at all. So now my my home page has this background, my Minions have this background, so it's easy to tell them apart. It's easy for customization, and you can definitely have the look you're looking for. If you can't find the image, then you have that upload ability, so you can choose whatever you want. You can make whatever you want in Photoshop or GIMP or Paint.net or one of those kind of services. But I would build this Minion page exactly the same way, and since my navigation is already there, I don't have to worry about making that. Now let's go ahead and preview this for a second. So right now I've got Home and Minions up at the top. It's clickable, works the way it's expected. This all looks good. I like how it's formatted, but I haven't made anything a link yet. Like, this is still clickable, but it doesn't take me anywhere. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So click my X to get back out. I'm on my website. So if I get in here and I highlight the site that I want, I'm going to click on this insert link thing. Problem here is that I don't actually know the website that I want to go to. So I'm going to type in, oh yeah, I forgot. I just made that too. So I'm going to go http://tech.wftigers.org, and then hit apply. Now that one's automatically underlined, and if I click once, it shows a sample of what the site is, and if I click on this link, it will open up the site in a new tab. Since I'm in here, it'll tell me it's redirecting. And then I'll get this site, which is also made in Google Sites. Send a tech ticket. That one, actually, let's go back to there so I can copy it. Okay, so send a tech ticket, highlight that, click on the little link, paste, apply, and then I'll do the same for the YouTube channel. I'll put the school in, apply, band, I have to find my YouTube channel. To find your YouTube channel link, go to YouTube, make sure that you're logged in, click on my channel, and then it's this up here at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, highlight this mess again, click on the little link. Oops, I've highlighted too much, and hit paste. Now let's say that I wanted to add another link to this Minions page for some reason, or maybe I made a frequently asked questions page or a classroom rules page or something like that. I'm going to go ahead and type in Minions. Then I'm going to highlight and I'm going to click that link again. And this has been popping up the whole time, so you've probably noticed that it says Site Pages. If I click Minions, it's going to say page colon and it says Minions. So that's going to automatically be populated by every single page that I own or that I've made. So when I click on the Minions page and click Apply, that's automatically linked for me. So if I go back to the preview button and I go click on Minions, it's just going to take me to that Minions page, the same as if I had clicked Minions up here at the top. They're exactly the same at the moment. So that basically makes you make, or lets you make, more than one set of navigation. All of these would take me to the websites outside. So it opens in a separate tab. Works quite well. What if, though, we decide that you don't like the navigation up here at the top? That's fine. There's a way around that. It's a little weird though, because to do it, if you are over here in the top, it brings up this little gear icon, and if we click on it, we can choose side navigation. But in this view, it just adds these little lines, which we call a hamburger menu. And the thing about a hamburger menu is if you click on it, it slides stuff out. It's very common in like iPhones and other mobile devices because the screen sizes are so small. But we don't really want that here because the screen's big enough that we kind of want to see a menu all the time. But that's where it's tricky, because if I preview the website, my navigation comes back, which is what we want. And it doesn't show up like that on a tablet. It's still the way we want it to be. It's not got the hamburger menu. That hamburger menu doesn't come until we get to the phone view, which is great, but that happens even whenever you have the horizontal navigation, so I'm not really sure why Google did that. But just a heads up that whenever you're in your editing view, you won't see your sidebar, which is probably because you can't edit it. So, I mean, that may be why they did it. Anyway, just be aware that you can do it. You just won't be able to see it. All right, so basically, that's it. You don't have to do much stuff whenever you're trying to add your profile things. Profiles are pretty simple to do. If you want to get into your classrooms, though, there are lots of other features that you can do going down this page. One of the really great things is calendar. So if I click on calendar, it pulls up every calendar that I have in my Google Apps thing. And if I choose the sports activities and field trips calendars, the primarily school one, and I go to insert, it's automatically going to put my calendar in there. So I don't have to worry about trying to figure out how to type in events and that kind of thing. If I click on it and I choose gears, then I can change view mode to be week or month. Say that I'm a PLA room and I want to put my class sessions on a week view. Then there they are right there. If I have made my YouTube channel, I can go ahead and click on YouTube and do a video search to find whatever resources I need, or I can go ahead and click on one that I've already made. That it's in there automatically. If I click the little gear thing, I can choose whether full screen is allowed. I can choose some of these other options that you probably don't want to set. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to hide the controls on a YouTube video unless you have very specific need to do it. Progress bar color, red or white. Google Map, you can put in maps to specific locations, and right now Chrome's asking if I want to allow my location, so I'll go ahead and hit yes. It may or may not find you the way you're supposed to be, but it could also find you in Little Rock because that's where our internet comes from. So if I go ahead and there, I guess, and hit select. Now I've got my map to me. You could send a map to your room, I guess. Then you've got all of the Google stuff right here that's common. I'm going to go ahead and delete these because my page is getting on the large side. So if I click from Drive, then that's going to go ahead and make it to where I can choose any Google file that I have in my account, and I can put it there. So if I wanted to put a form or a spreadsheet or something like that, then I could. I'm going to go ahead and just choose a random PDF like this guy. So if I click the name of PDF, I can click insert, or I can double click it, and it's going to open that PDF up in a viewer. So if I wanted to put my classroom handbook or something like that in, I can, and I'm going to resize it to fill the page. I can make it bigger if I want to, so it's full. You know, it works the same way as resizing pictures does. I don't want that though, so I'm going to delete it. But what if I want something else? Like, I can choose from a Google Doc. I can go this way, and it'll filter everything to where it only picks Google Docs. So I could have put my bio in just the same way, and it'll basically look at it like a piece of text. It won't put the viewer around it. So if I click preview now, I've got this part up here, and then if I scroll down, I've got the embedded copy of my Google Doc. Works the same way for slides and sheets and forms and charts. Google Slides are pretty cool to embed because they have built-in players. So let's say that I want to put this intellectual property slideshow in. So if I go ahead and resize this, look at my settings. I don't want to auto start. I don't want to loop because it's not auto started. If you loop it, if you auto start it, you can loop it. Then I'll hit done. Now when people come to my website, they have a full slideshow built in that I don't have to send them to another page for. Go ahead and delete this. Maybe I want to emphasize this or emphasize it this way, draw more attention to it. But Google Forms can be embedded if you want a different way of doing contacts. Let's see, that'll work. If I double click that, it puts the form in, so you don't have to send a link to the form. You can use just the actual form. And if I drag it up like that, it turns it into a link instead. So I could do it twice, one embedded, one as a link. And if I preview this, then you'll see that this one just takes you to it, whereas this one, you can actually fill it out inside and submit that way. So basically, if it's in your Google account, it can be on the website very, very easily. If it's not in your Google account, then it's easy to put stuff in Google Drive, and images and that kind of thing you can upload easily also. The only other thing that you need to learn in terms of adding stuff to your site is that this embed URL button doesn't work the way that any other embed tool works online. So for now, I would probably recommend not using this until Google expands its functionality. it doesn't work with the majority of websites, and it just basically adds a link. So for now, this tool isn't really of much use. So once you have your website ready to go and you are comfortable with it and you want people to see it and you want students to be able to access it, we have to publish the site. So to do so, there's this publish button right here. If we click it, we first have to name the site. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in the first part of your email address for site location. So my email address is crobbins@wftigers.org, so I'm going to type in crobbins. Once I've done that, you'll get a check mark because that's the only one that has that site, because I'm the only C. Robbins. Then I'm going to go ahead and set this to anyone on the web. If I leave it anyone at wftigers.org, that means only students and staff have access to it. So anyone on the web, and this option down here means that I don't want Google to be able to find my website. That's very rarely a thing that you want, but if you aren't comfortable with people outside of our network and your parents and that kind of thing seeing your stuff, then go ahead and check it. I will tell you that just because you check this doesn't mean that other search engines won't pick you up, and sometimes Google will do it also. This request is very much that. Search engines don't have to listen to it, so I don't ever really worry about it. And then once you've got your proper privacy setting, you'll choose publish. It'll give you this little spinny thing, tell you that it's publishing, and then once it's done, you'll have a notice down here. And that means that our site's now live on the web. So anybody that has our link can access our website. Once you have made your site, and once you are comfortable with it and it's published, you are probably going to want to add the tech guys to your editors list. Editors work the same way as sharing a Google Doc with somebody as a collaborator. What this allows us to do is to help you when something goes wrong. If you don't make the tech guys editors or contributors, then we won't be able to assist without just basically talking to you on the phone, and sometimes it's hard to do on website stuff. So go ahead and hit the Add Editors button, and where it says Invite People, you're going to type in Corey, or me rather. So C. Robbins. You're also going to type in Carl Clements. And you're going to type in Blake Cruikshank. So doing that gives all three tech guys access to your website. We are not going to go into your website and edit it for you unless you specifically ask us to help you. Like I said, this just gives us the ability to help. Go ahead and click Notify People so that Carl, Blake, and I get a notification, and leave everything else basically the same. Once you're done with it, you'll click the send button. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to share it with myself. Okay, so now that you published your site, you have a new little button. It's this little drop down arrow thing, and if you click on that drop down arrow button, you have publish settings, meaning that you can change everything you did at the initial publish. You also have unpublish, which you should be very careful with, because unpublishing means that it is no longer accessible online, and people will get an error if they used to be able to access it. Or you can hit View Published Site. So when I click View Published Site, I get the live copy of my website, and this link right here is what you're going to want to give to parents and students. And when you access this link, you will have this little icon right down here as long as you are logged into your email. Clicking the little pencil Edit This Page button, which only you and the tech guys will have, will bring up your editor window again. So you almost never will have to go access your site any other way again. That is about it, actually. I didn't go over these two buttons. This is the undo button. This is the redo button. Those are helpful. And under more, site analytics shows you how many people have tracked, but you have to sign up for Google Analytics, which is out of the scope of this tutorial. Send feedback. We'll send it directly to Google. It won't send it to us, so that's up to you. Help takes you to Google Sites support, but it doesn't have too terribly much stuff. Then let's see. Take a tour will bring up like a quick start guide. If you want to do that, it brings up these things, and we'll give you a quick overview. One other thing, actually. So I told you that you could add pages. So I added a class page. So Minions. Let's say that I want to do assignments, and I want to do calendar, I guess. But I don't want those to all be, and I'm going to switch this back to the top navigation so we can see. I don't want assignments and calendar to be on the main page because it's only relevant to the Minions class. What if I had percussion class also, and I had playing exams? So now I've got two classes and I have different stuff underneath each one of them. So I want assignments to go under Minions, like underneath it. So I'm going to go ahead and click these little dots, and I'm going to pull it up underneath Minions to where that little line shows up, that little blue line, and then I'm going to let go. And it's going to change the icon to these, and you'll see that now Minions has a little drop down, and I've got assignments. So I'm going to do the same thing with calendar to where it pops down underneath. Same thing with playing, pops down underneath. Now I've got my two classes and the relevant content for each one. And it works quite well, actually. The negative is that you can't have double nested. So I can't put calendar underneath assignments. It's either under one or it's by itself. Eventually that will be changed. Google Sites is pretty new, but as of now you can only have one nested category. That really is it this time. So if anyone has any questions about using Google Sites, obviously reach out to any of us and we'll be able to help you. If you can think of better ways to use Google Sites or cool ways to use it, be sure to let us know, because I'm always interested in hearing how you guys are using tools to be more efficient and more effective. Anyway, I will talk to you all later. Thanks. Bye.